What's up, YouTube? This is Vernacular TV. If you like the content that I'm producing, please like the video, post a comment, and subscribe to the channel. The shifting of the current international system in assessment may be driven by the conflict that is going on in Ukraine. The shifting of the system is more so in context to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which have put a lot of stress on the European and the Western nation. If you look at nations in the United Nations voting against the Russian invasion of Ukraine, those nations in the global south, their condemnation towards Russia was much more less. But all Western nations' condemnation towards Russia invasion of Ukraine has been seen through the media apparatus. The shifting of the current international system is being drawn out because as Russia is being isolated by the Western nation and the United States, being isolated from the international financial market, being isolated with sanctions, it draws Russia to go a different course of action. And this course of action is while forging the current dynamic within the international system. We have a rising power in China. We have India. We have Pakistan. We have South Africa with the BRICS. They are creating different mechanisms, financial mechanisms to rival the dollar, to rival the Europeans. So you see the current shifting within the international system. This war within Ukraine is speeding up the financial impact of Western dollar losing its value within the global international market. So that dynamic is taking place as the United States, Russia, Canada, Japan, South Korea, and the whole European Union, as they try to isolate Russia. Russia is finding different mechanisms. So now Russia is saying, pay me in ruble. If you are going to buy my oil and gas, pay me in ruble. So that too is creating complexity for the Europeans because the European depends on Russian gas and oil, 40% of Russian gas and oil. And during the wintertime, it's very dire and it's imperative that the European receive these natural resources from Russia. But here we have the United States, across the Atlantic. We have the United States over here dominating the international conversation as it relates to Russia. We have NATO dominating the conversation. So that creating the impact that the former colonial power now faces against Russia. Because it's not like the colonial power is colonizing Africa, Asia, and South America. It's not the case. This time it's the Europeans with the Russians at these are great powers at the Europeans, we know the former colonial power, the Germans, the French, the Dutch, the Portuguese, the British. As we know, this is what this conversation is about. It's them and the United States and its Western allies fight against Russia. Those on the global south is kind of staying on the sideline because these great power is creating different mechanisms to rival each other. But the system is shifting. The international financial system is shifting. Here we hear on the Secretary of Vladimir Putin, Lugarov, he's saying the potential for World War III could be highly feasible. So this conversation is shifting. The financial mechanism is shifting. The international system now is a dual power. It's a multipolar system, multipolarity. It's happening within the system. And the United States, in many sense, is losing its power grip since it have gained since World War II. If you look at China and its trade partners, China has more trade partners than the United States. Technology and militarily, the United States, I think, still surpass China. But the Chinese is growing. This is a multipolar world. You have Pakistan, you have India, you have Iran. The complexity of the international system is shifting. And as we look at Ukraine, Ukraine is the fulcrum. After this Ukraine conflict, the system is gonna change because the financial mechanism is gonna change. We just hope things don't go down a catastrophic route. This is Vernacular TV. Like the video for me.